Why Christmas trees have got me wound up. It might seem trivial, but this morning I was walking our dog, called Bonzo, and noticed a few Christmas trees rolling down the street. I guess like we see every single year. And I started to feel myself getting just a little bit annoyed. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Christmas trees. And putting ours up is a really big part of Christmas for my family. But for some reason, a lot of people seem to think that once the festive season is over, it's really okay to just throw your tree out in the street and just let it blow around. I mean, someone else can come along and clear it up, right? There was a road cleaner sweeping up near these abandoned trees this morning, and as the rain tipped down on us both, we got talking, actually, and ended up on the subject of the Christmas trees. It turns out that he and all his colleagues find it all pretty annoying too. Now, most councils I know do have a day when they say they'll come round and they'll pick up your used tree, but until that day, why do some people feel it acceptable to just put it against a wall or chuck it in the gutter or some other random place where it just gets in other people's way? Now, in the grand scheme of things and everything going on right now, this is clearly really trivial. But it does highlight for me a growing problem where some people seem to be very happy to let everyone else sort everything out for them, rather than, of course, doing it themselves. So often it seems that it's everyone else's problem to sort everything out. For as long as I can remember, there's always been a debate going on about how much control the state should have over our lives. And I know this is quite a sweeping statement, but in general, the Conservative Party seems to be all about having less control, normally, over our lives and our businesses, whereas the Labour Party has always advocated a higher level of control and more state intervention in how we live. Now, the last few years, of course, have seen a level of control during the pandemic that went beyond anything any of us could imagine. And we must all make sure we never get back to that again, because it was, quite frankly, a little bit scary. I even saw a great T-shirt for sale recently that said, 1984, please can we make it fiction again? I smiled, but I couldn't agree more. If we all want less state control and meddling in how we live our lives and more freedom to live exactly how we want, then that comes with great responsibility, all right? And if it comes with great responsibility, what we know is that what we have to do is we have to do our bit to help our communities and our wider society to function a little bit more. Now, we know that with food prices soaring, fuel costs at insane levels because of the war in Ukraine and a new winter of discontent, more and more people are needing the help of government and charities to just get by. We have always been the greatest nation in the world at mucking in and helping our fellow citizens out. But more than ever, that sense of community and the bigger society seems to be what is needed right now. And that could start with something as simple and ridiculous as clearing up our own Christmas tree. Right, OK, let's have a chat with our panel about this. And, OK, Dawn Neesmith, it's very nice to have you on. And Adam, welcome along. And Amy as well, looking fabulous today. So please, tell me what you think. Do we need to get a bit more involved and sort our own problems out? Or is it up to someone else just to sort everything out for us? What do you think, Dawn?
Every generation, I think, always says this, don't know, about the generations that follow on. Oh, it wasn't like this in my day. You lot have got it easy now. And no disrespect to your age, Neil, because I'm pretty much getting there as well. But the younger generation now, I think, and no disrespect to the lovely youngster on the end of the sofa here with me.
Is that Adam?
No, it's not Adam, definitely not Adam. I think that they do have it easier, Neil, and I don't mean that in a patronising way. I genuinely don't. It's like when poverty these days is designated to be not having the right telly or the right mobile phone, whereas in my grandparents' generation, it was not having literally any food or boots to put on your feet. I'm not exaggerating. That was literally my grandparents' situation. So I think we these days, we rely too much on the government and too much on all the luxuries we have around us. So it does make us more selfish, and I'm including myself in this, because we're so used to having everything now we want on a plate handed to us at the snap of our fingers that we are selfish with it. And you know what I think also that goes with this, Neil, is the politics of envy goes with this as well, doesn't it? It's like, well, why can't I have what they've got? How very dare they have a better car than me? How very dare they have better holidays than me? So I think it does make us a very selfish generation. And you were so right about 1984, because I feel like we've been living in it for the last few years, haven't we? And now suddenly it's like, well, you know, remember the government told us how to walk down the street? You know, during the pandemic, we had footprints on the high street telling us how to walk. Been doing it since I was about 2 years old, sorry. So I think it's this attitude that nothing is my fault anymore. There's always someone else to blame, and we've completely lost our own, taking responsibility for our own actions.
However, can I come in?
No, you're too young, shut up.
Okay.
No, please come in, Amy, come on.
Just on the Christmas tree topic, I'm a person that kept a Christmas tree with all the pin needles falling off it in the garden until August, when I finally moved house and put it in the skip, because I didn't know what to do with it. I don't think these people are selfish. They just don't know where to put the Christmas tree.
That just makes you lazy, Amy.
No, honestly, how do you get rid of it? Like, it doesn't fit in the bin. Like, where do you put it? You have to research these things. And, you know, maybe we're just lazy in that regard.
Well, no, I was going to say, look, I think every council, they're normally pretty good at coming down on a certain day, but it's just this, I mean, literally, I know it's only the, 29th today, and maybe this is people heading off for an early bit of winter sunshine and chucking their trees out early, I don't know, but they were just rolling around in the gutter, and you kind of think, well, put them by the bin,
Do you know
maybe,
what I find
but don't
more
just
shocking?
leave them.
I find more shocking in all this is the scant regard for the tradition of the 12th night. Who are all these lunatics throwing out their Christmas tree this early?
Yeah, but as Neil says, some people are going away. But Neil, I think as well, we also can't forget that we pay a lot of sort of council tax.
Oh my God, how much? So much.
And so sort of, I do expect a lot of these things to be done because of the money that I'm having to pay each month, you know. But I sort of leave my wife to do. I'm busy in the pubs this time of year, so taking the Christmas trees down and all that sort of palaver, I leave to my wife. So,
but I don't buy that we're more selfish. If you look at all the stories from this Christmas Day of all the people helping out homeless shelters and feeding people and being very, very generous at the time at a cost of living crisis, I actually think that we're not a selfish nation at all. And I think you drew upon that. You said we've always been one of the greatest nations at mucking in and helping out. And I think that's the key.
I think we are, though, and I think that's true. But I think there's this other side. On one hand, we are very good. We're the best nation in the world for looking after people, charities, helping our neighbours. We have mucked in. That sort of World War II spirit, I think we still have in many respects, and we help people out, which I love. But there's this other side that just goes, I will help other people out. But, I mean, you wouldn't go and put, like, an old fridge out on the pavement and just think, I'll chuck that out and let someone sort it out. You'd somehow put it in the car and take it to the tip or find a way of doing it. It's just this one thing about trees, because they all just start rolling down the street and they just make a mess.
Well, like me, you just leave the fridge in the garden until you move house. That's what I did with the tree.
It's just makes you lazy, so your garden's full of
No,
trees
it
and
makes me...
fridges.
I'm not good at researching things. And to be fair, the tree did become a bit of an ornament in the garden, and it was quite funny.
I think Dawn's right there. You know, I had some notes here. So, you know, my mum's generation, there's a different work ethic. There's different morals in those generations, you know, and I do think there's a notable difference now between sort of that age group and sort of mine on younger, you know. So again, but I will go back to that point that we pay a lot of council tax, and you know, about people moaning about certain services that they have to do during their jobs. You know, we pay towards that. So I think people need to be a bit more mindful, Neil. But we also do expect to get certain services for our money as well.
It's true. Maybe that's why people do just chuck them out, because they think, I pay for it. But it does make a blooming mess. And I always kind of think, if you can go out and buy it, maybe it's partly down to the people that sell us Christmas trees. They should add another £1 or £2 on it, you know, when you buy it. They're expensive enough anyway. And just say, you know what, on the 12th day of Christmas, we're going to come by and we'll pick them up in a great big van or something and take them all away.
I've actually got a solution, which I found personally myself. On the 12th day of Christmas, just put the tree in the box and in the loft. Get an artificial tree. That avoids all this nonsense.
That's exactly what I've done. I'm Greta Thunberg's worst nightmare. Full on plastic.
Have you gone for... What about you, Adam? You must have real trees, surely, in your pubs?
I've got a couple of real trees at the pubs. At home, though, they are fake, so...
Are they?
Yeah.
I wonder what the percentage is now. I have no idea, by the way. I'm sort of just asking this sort of random person. I wonder what the percentage is of how many people have real as opposed to fake now. We've actually gone fake a couple of years ago as well, I have to be honest. But we do spray around the pine spray in the house, so it actually smells nice, 'cause that's the one thing
we should do a poll, Neil. We should do a GB News poll, real or fake.
I've got to be honest, with everything going on at the moment, Adam, there might be slightly bigger things to do a poll about. You know what I mean? But anyway.
Fake it.
Panel, thank you very much indeed. unfortunately, for the moment, Dawn and Adam and Amy, we will be back a little bit later on.